Following the method in the last video, I have leveled this fun sorcerer character to level 100. After you drop your hydras on the ground, they will burn and destroy everything for you. You cast the chain lightning whenever you can go to generate a lot of crackling energy orbs on the ground. Picking up these orbs will give you mana back as well as conjure lightning spears that will stun all the enemies. The stunned enemies can't do anything but to be destroyed by your hydra very fast. With the equipped gears which have the damage reduction while injured stats, you will also be able to play while low life. This gives you 80% damage reduction when injured. With the barrier you generated from ice armor and any other cooldown skills, you become very tanky. The key is to keep your barrier up all the time by using your skill alternatively with the red timing. Of course, you can play full life with your barrier, which is also safe. When your life comes down, pay attention to your barrier. As long as you have barrier up, you are invincible to anything. With this build, you can complete the Nightmare dungeon tier 100 comfortably. As you can see, the tier 100 dungeon boss died in just a few seconds. I have all the details of this build in the D4 Planner website linked in the description. If you want to see more content like this, please smash the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to never miss a video. Let's quickly go over the gears. On the helmet, look for cooldown, maximum life, plus rank of Hydra, and also total armor. I use this aspect to make ice armor become unstoppable and also grant 10% bonus armor. On the chest, look for all kinds of damage reduction and the total armor. And also get another barrier generation aspect on this. On the gloves, look for critical strike chance, attack speed, intelligence, and also fire damage over time. And look for smiting aspect to get more critical strike chance when enemies are injured and also more crowd control when you are healthy. This crowd control duration is really helpful because it can extend the duration you stun enemies, which is very helpful for clearing the mobs. On the pants, look for damage reduction, especially damage reduction while injured. You want to maximize the stats on the 3 pieces of the gears. So one is on the pants here, one is on the boots. Look for the maximized damage reduction while injured, and also one on the amulet. So in total, this will give us above 80% damage reduction while injured. So this is why this build is really strong. And then on the weapon, look for vulnerable damage, critical strike damage, damage over time, or plus stats, plus to all stats, and also intelligence. And I use aspect of control to deal more damage to immobilized, stunned, and frozen enemies. On the amulet, I have damage, movement speed after killing an elite. You can look for movement speed, and also plus rank for all conjuration skills. This will increase your rank of Hydra. Of course, damage reduction while injured. You can also look for plus rank for all defensive skills. That will reduce your cooldown for Frost Nova, which is very helpful. On the ring, look for vulnerable damage, critical strike damage, critical strike chance, and the barrier generation. And the aspect on this ring and the amulets have a lot of synergy. So on the amulet, look for chain lightning has more chance to chain more times. And every time the chain lightning bounces, it gives you mana back. This is very useful. On the other end, look for vulnerable damage, maximum life, critical strike damage, and the critical strike chance. And I use this aspect to basically deal more damage over time when it's over their life. It is useful to kill the last bit of the HP in their health bar. And lastly, on the offhand, I use this is a very critical aspect to give you 1 additional Hydra and also increase the Hydra duration. Look for cooldown reduction, critical strike chance, barrier generation, and also damage reduction from enemies that are burning. Skill tree, you can put 2 points into any of the basic skills, and we are not using any basic skill just advanced to core skill. We use chain lightning, enhanced chain lightning, and very importantly, destructive chain lightning to generate crackling energy orbs on the ground whenever your chain lightning is doing critical strikes. 1 point can be put in here to increase your maximum mana. Because we don't care about the damage of chain lightning in this build, you can put this one anywhere to advance to the defensive skills. Defensive skill, we have Flame Shield. We don't have any point here. All the ranks are coming from the item contribution. 3 point in elemental attunement to randomly reset one of the cooldown of the defensive skills. This can be very helpful during the fight. Frost Nova to freeze enemies. Enhance the Frost Nova, and definitely pick the Mystical Frost Nova to make enemies vulnerable. This is the only mechanism for this build to do vulnerable damage, very critical. And S Armor for sure, enhance the S Armor, and we are using Mystical S Armor to generate more barrier to make you even tankier when you are on low life. And the HYDRA, as you can see, when we maximize 5 points in here, and the other 7 ranks are coming from the items. We'll use enhanced HYDRA and also summon the HYDRA to do burn damage as well to the enemies. And 1 point in Lightning Spear, enhanced Lightning Spear, and very importantly, this invoked Lightning Spear to make enemies stun. So later we can talk about the enchantment. If you have Lightning Spear as the enchantment, whenever you pick up the energy orbs on the ground, it will have a chance to conjure Lightning Spear to make enemies stun. So the effect of this is that all of the enemies are pretty much stunned during all the fights. So this is really helpful for clearing all of the mobs. 3 point into Conjuration Mastery to deal more damage for each active conjuration. Definitely align the elements to have more damage reduction. 3 point into Mana Shield to get even more damage reduction when you spend 100 mana. And 3 point into Protection. This is very critical to generate a barrier, because using this, you can basically get 30% of your maximum life as barrier for 3 seconds whenever you use any of the cooldown. And all the skills here, Flame Shield, S Armor, Frost Nova, are the cooldown skills. So if you use any of these skills, you get barrier. This is very critical. 3 points here in Icy Veil to increase the duration of your barrier. And also get 1 point in Inner Flames to be able to get Devouring Blaze to increase your burning damage. 1 point in Static Discharge to be able to get Invigorating Conduit to basically gain mana whenever you get or you pick Crackling Energy Orb from the ground. And you will have a lot of Crackling Energy Orbs generated for this build, so you get mana back very quickly. And 1 point into Unstable Current and Prime Unstable Current. This is very useful to boost your damage to clear elites and bosses. 1 point into Coursing Current to be able to get Electrocution. This will make the enemy deal less damage to you, give you survivability. Lastly, for the key passive, we still use Combustion to grant you a lot of burn damage from the HYDRA. We use Flame Shield, Ice Armor, Frost Nova, Unstable Current, Chain Lightning, and HYDRA. Enchantment, Lightning Spear Enchantment. So whenever we pick up Crackling Energy from the ground, there's a 10% chance to conjure a Lightning Spear, which will stun enemies for 2 seconds. This duration can be further increased by crowd control duration on any of your gear pieces. And another enchantment is HYDRA. After spending 200 mana, there's a HYDRA gonna be spawned for 7 seconds. So this will boost your damage for 50%, because you already have 2 HYDRA you can summon from your skill. This original HYDRA will boost your damage a lot. You can read the Paragon details from the link in the description on the planner website. Here I'll just quickly go over it. From the starting board, we use glyph of a conjurer. So this will not only increase your conjuration skill damage 158%, this is a lot, and also this will increase the duration of your Hydra. It's very helpful. And I definitely get this node to increase vulnerable damage given by the exploit glyph. And very importantly, this is the only legendary nodes we're using. So this will give you burning damage, which scales with how much critical strike damage you have and also how much intelligence you have. Intelligence is your dominant stat. So I have 564% here. Based on the gear, what you want to use and the intelligence, you can make this much higher. And then we go for this side to use the Tactician Gloat to give you more bonus for the rare node. So the rare node is basically getting a lot vulnerable damage here and some intelligence here, which is useful. And this will also allow you to deal 10% increased damage after casting a defensive skill, which we are doing all the time. And then moving up to get this control node, which will give you 130% damage to crowd control enemies, which is awesome, and also increase your damage to stun enemies. And then moving up to get Flame Feeder node to get further increased burning damage and also increase multiplier on the burning enemies. Lastly, we can get to this node, Destruction, to get critical strike damage, which will scale your burning damage based on this legendary node, Burning Instinct. And then this will also increase your critical strikes. Hope this video is useful for you to play your sorcerer build. See you in the next one.